I'm Mike Byer in Lexington. Coming up on WKYT News, a man is in the hospital after police say he was robbed and then shot.
Family, friends, and fans are remembering legendary basketball coach Pat Summitt. We'll have reaction from UK coach Matthew Mitchell.
A little humidity shows up out there today, but a refreshing air mass is about to take over and run the show, at least for a couple of days. I'll track it coming up for you.
This is WKYT News at noon.
Good afternoon from WKYT News. I'm Rebecca Smith, in today for Barbara Bailey.
I'm Bill Bryant. Here's what's happening at noon on this busy day. Police are investigating a shooting and robbery in Lexington.
This happened just before 5 o'clock in the morning at the Lansdowne Apartments on Malibu Drive. WKYT's Mike Byer is at the scene with the latest on the search for suspects. It's our top story at noon.
People living along Malibu Drive say their neighborhood is normally quiet with little crime. It was anything but that this morning. Police were called out to the Lansdowne Apartments shortly before 5 a.m. When they arrived on scene, they say they located a man with a gunshot wound to his leg. Police say the victim tells them he was on Malibu Drive near Woodside Way when 3 men approached him, robbed him of his electronics, and then shot him in the leg. Police say the victim made the 2-block walk to the Lansdowne Apartments where officers say he lives. From there, the victim was taken to UK Hospital with what police say are non-life-threatening injuries. Police say he was alert and talking to them before he was taken away by ambulance. Neighbors say this is frightening to them because they say their neighborhood never has crime like this.
I'll be a little more cautious and just be aware of my surroundings and ready to run towards someone's house if, I felt threatened.
Now, police say the 3 suspects fled the scene in a black car. They ask anyone with information about this morning's crime to contact the Lexington Police Department. In Lexington, Mike Byer, WKYT.
All right, Mike, thank you. And police are investigating a possible connection between that shooting and 3 business robberies that happened early this morning. The Speedway on Euclid was hit first. That was followed by the Speedway on Winchester Road at 7th Street, and finally the Waffle House on 8th and Boonesboro Road. WKYT's Mark Barber has more on this crime spree that followed the shooting in this Crime Tracker report. Mark.
Police think the robbers held up 3 businesses using 2 handguns after they stole 1 van. The crime spree started early this morning.
It's getting a little bit hot every once in a while.
As temperatures rise, some neighbors worry crime is also heating up.
It's getting way up there. It's getting really pitiful.
Joseph Etchins stops at the Speedway on Winchester Road and 7th Street a few times a week. 2 robbers targeted the popular spot early this morning, right after they hit the Speedway on Euclid Avenue. The masked men were aggressive, shoving a gun into the back of a clerk. During the 3rd stop on their crime spree, they held up the Waffle House on 8th and Boonesboro Road. Police found cash and a cell phone on the street next to one of the gas stations that was hit. Officers hope it will help them track down the 2 gunmen.
I hope to get caught and put them away for quite a while. It's getting really ridiculous. Just like I said, it's you just can't hardly walk the street anymore like you used to when I was coming up.
The robbers were caught on surveillance camera, but they were wearing masks and hooded sweatshirts, so police were not able to get a good look at their faces. Investigators are now hoping someone will send in a tip that will lead to an arrest. In Lexington, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Mark, thank you. And if you have any information about the case, police say you can text them a tip to crimes or 274-637.
Well, more refreshing air is starting to head back into the bluegrass, giving us a much-needed break from all this humidity. How long can we expect it to last? Jim Caldwell's in our First Alert Weather Center with a look ahead.
Not long enough. That's going to be the answer to your question there. I'd love to have it for a little while longer, but we're only going to get a couple of days out of it. Looks fantastic out there anywhere you look on our sky cams, and we've got them all over the place. From Moorhead to Jackson and Jenkins and eastern Kentucky. Fantastic looking day out there as humidity is going down slightly for us. Here's what we've got temperature wise. We are running in the low to mid 80s throughout most of the area with an increase in moisture in the air. It's going to try to hold things off at least a little bit for you this afternoon. Now, what we have with the hour by hour run of our temperatures, you can see where we end up through the overnight. Check this out. 50s start breaking out all over the place. That's going to be refreshing in the morning as you get up and you start stirring around. And then tomorrow, daytime highs only into the 70s. Now that is a comfortable air mass. Throw in the fact that the humidity levels are going to be down, and you've got yourself a fall-like feel to the air. I'll track the rest of it coming up for you here in just a few minutes.
All right, it's going to be easy to enjoy the next few days anyway. Thank you, Jim. A special election over expanded alcohol sales is taking place in a southern Kentucky city today. In 2012, Williamsburg voted to allow alcohol sales in restaurants. That measure passed by just 14 votes. Now voters are deciding whether or not to allow alcohol sales in other stores. Nearby towns, including Corbin and Barberville, have approved alcohol sales in recent years. Polls remain open in Williamsburg this afternoon until 6 o'clock tonight. Well, the winningest coach in Division I basketball history has died.
Pat Summitt, who spent 38 years leading the Lady Vols, died this morning after battling early onset dementia and Alzheimer's. Our Dave Baker is here with reaction from UK basketball coach and former Summitt assistant Matthew Mitchell.
Guys, she was a pioneer whose influence went well beyond her school and her sport. The great Pat Summitt passing away this morning at the age of 84, just 5 years after being diagnosed with that early onset dementia in the form of Alzheimer's. She never had a losing record in those 38 seasons and is the winningest coach, as you said, in Division I history. That's men's or women's. She won 8 national championships, an Olympic gold medal, and every player that played for Tennessee earned their degree. But her influence throughout the game is still being felt. Take Kentucky, for instance. Former head coach Mickey DeMoss, current assistants Nia Butts and Kyra Elsie, and current coach Matthew Mitchell all either played or worked for Summitt. She was a giant, but was always humble.
That level of humility coupled with just an intense work ethic and consistent effort were just real rare combination of qualities to find in a person. She was the definition of special.
Summitt will be laid to rest in a private service in Middle Tennessee. A public celebration of her life will be held sometime in the future at Thompson Bowling Arena in Knoxville. Guys, back to you.
The loss of a legend. Thank you so much. In a statement this morning, Tennessee alum Peyton Manning said, quote, "She could have coached any team, any sport, men's or women's. It wouldn't have mattered because Pat could flat out coach." Well, longtime NFL coach Buddy Ryan's died. Ryan was defensive coordinator for the 1985 Super Bowl champion Bears and later the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles and the Arizona Cardinals. After he retired from coaching, Ryan moved to Kentucky, where he raised horses in Anderson County until his health started to fail. Buddy Ryan was 82 years old.
Well, it's good to have you with us on WKYT News. Republicans in Congress have released a critical report detailing Hillary Clinton's involvement in the 2012 Benghazi, Libya attacks. And we'll take a look at the impact it could have on her presidential campaign. She's pushing back hard. It's coming up on Kentucky's #1 Midday News.
Also, Kanye West's controversial new music video continuing to create buzz on social media, but not as much as he would like. We'll explain on WKYT. Welcome back into WKYT News at noon. House Republicans have released their report on the U.S. consulate attack in Benghazi, Libya.
And the report is critical of the Obama administration's response during and after the attack, more specifically of the Army. Mark Albert is on Capitol Hill with the latest.
Someone you helped. After 2 years, 107 interviews, and more than $7 million, the House Select Committee on Benghazi has released its final report into the deaths of 4 Americans, including U.S. Ambassador to Libya, Chris Stevens.
No U.S. military asset was ever deployed to Benghazi despite the order of the Secretary of Defense.
The Republican-written 800-page report also found the administration was politically motivated to cite an internet video as a cause for the attacks and not terrorism. The State Department and Secretary Clinton failed to provide better security for the Benghazi consulate, leaving it vulnerable. And members of the Obama administration stonewalled the congressional investigation.
I believe that the government failed its people and lied to the public in the aftermath.
The report is critical of then Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, but Republicans on the committee insist she was not the focus.
Speaker Boehner asked me to find out what happened to 4 of our fellow citizens, and I believe that that is what I have done.
Democrats say the investigation's purpose was aimed at derailing Clinton's presidential campaign. In a statement, the Clinton campaign said, quote, "This committee's chief goal is to politicize the deaths of 4 brave Americans." Perhaps the most lasting impact of the committee's investigation was the revelation that Secretary Clinton used a private email server during her time at the State Department. Mark Albert for CBS News, Capitol Hill.
The Benghazi report also lists 25 recommendations aimed at strengthening security for American personnel who are serving overseas. British Prime Minister David Cameron is meeting with European leaders in Brussels today for the first time since England voted to leave the EU. The prime ministers of the Czech Republic, Hungary, Poland, and Slovakia says the European Union needs to be reformed to renew the trust of citizens in its institutions. Cameron has insisted the vote would not send the economy into a tailspin, even as the country was stripped of its top credit rating and stock markets plummeted around the world. Cameron resigned after Friday's vote, but he will remain in his position until a successor is found.
Jason Day is pulling out of the Rio Games, costing the Olympics the world's #1 player as it returns from a century-long absence. Day says he is concerned about the transmission of the Zika virus that has been linked to severe birth defects. He is not willing, he says, to take the chance because he plans to have more children. Last week, Rory McIlroy, a 4-time major champion, said Zika will keep him from competing in Rio. Well, it's not the reaction Kanye West was hoping for when he released his new music video for his song Famous. He just got silence.
Right. The controversial video, inspired by the painting Sleep, features a naked Kanye West sleeping beside his wife Kim Kardashian. But as the camera then pans, the faces of 11 celebrity lookalikes appear next to them, including rival Taylor Swift, as well as Donald Trump, Bill Cosby, and Caitlyn Jenner. Swift's representatives have not responded to the video, while reps for Jenner, Trump, and Cosby declined to comment. West later tweeted, quote, "Can somebody sue me already? Hashtag, I'll wait."
Following devastating flash flooding in West Virginia, members of the Red Cross from all over the state of Kentucky are in the mountain state helping people clean up.
We're going to be dry here for the next couple of days, but more rain will eventually get here toward the weekend. But let's enjoy the nice stuff while we can. I'll track it here in just a few minutes.
Now, your zone-by-zone forecast with meteorologist Jim Caldwell.
So far, not bad out there today. Humidity up just a little bit, but still not quite as high as it was yesterday. And temperatures are not out of control just yet. We're in the low to mid 80s and even upper 70s out in Harlan, there in eastern Kentucky. Had a little extra rain around yesterday, putting more moisture in that area, period. So it's a little harder to warm up in some cases. 78 in Prestonsburg, you see there. So a very pleasant day. What we have up the road is even better. It's fantastic stuff that you get for June going into July. You usually don't see an air mass quite like this one that we're going to have around here. I mean, it happens, but it's always nice to see it. It's very dry and cool considering where we are and where we have been. Mild air will start to surge in behind this next push of cooler air. It's dry and it's mild. That's going to be the nice thing about it. And then what we have is a cleansing front. It cleans everything, all the nasties out of the air for at least a few days. Temps will tumble by 5 to 10 as far as highs are concerned, even lows in some cases. We started off the morning in the upper 60s, low 70s. Tomorrow morning, we're probably in the 50s, mid to upper. So very, very different. Humidity will also drop quite a bit. Takes a big bite out of the presence of that moisture in the air. Defender radar network, quiet all across Kentucky. Moisture out into Virginia, and that's as close as it is. Hour by hour run will reveal those temperatures increasing another degree or two, but I think we're going to get to our max rather quickly, especially some of the clouds will build in here a little bit later on today during the peak heating. We'll keep things nice and quiet through the overnight. There you see those 50s tomorrow morning. That's refreshing to have that hanging around here with low. Again, lower levels of humidity present during the daytime hours. How about a high only in the mid and upper 70s? That is where a lot of us will end up coming up tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. Just a fantastic looking day. Look at what happens early on Thursday morning. This model has tried its best to paint 40 somewhere in northeastern portions of Kentucky in the past several runs, and you see it there again. But mid-50s, probably a good safe area for a lot of us. Maybe away from Lexington, out in some of the more rural areas, you could run into some of those 40s. It could very well happen in some isolated locations. Very pleasant. A little recovery into Thursday as far as highs are concerned. We're back close to 80 degrees or right around it. Then we get beyond the nice stuff, and we have what will set up as a good transition zone right across Kentucky, where we have the nice cool air to the north and the hot and muggy air to the south, with disturbances riding along here in Kentucky. Showers and thunderstorms a good possibility. Just look at the threat for rain, how it changes from low, virtually non-existent, to getting into near washout category as we get closer to the holiday weekend and during it as well. 7-day forecast is self-painted on there with some numbers too, so you can see we're talking about the pleasant stuff first with highs today in the mid-80s, 70s tomorrow. Thursday, some could even get stuck in the 70s there too. But, so enjoy it while you can, because it's very active toward the end of the week.
Right. Good for now. We'll enjoy it.
Better take it and run, yeah.
Thank you. Coming back on WKYT, a Kentucky kid comes back home.
And a former Wildcat is set to represent his country. Dave Baker's up next with sports.
And a very interesting day on Wall Street. The situation here at midday, all the major market indicators are up.
Kids nowadays call them haters, and those in the sports world that don't like DeMarcus Cousins are constantly talking about the emotion he shows. But guess what? He's representing the United States at the Olympics. Cousins has been named to the official 12-man roster. This is the first Olympics for Big Cuz, who participated with Team USA at the 2014 FIBA World Cup. Kentucky has a long line of success at the Olympics. 10 total players have captured the gold.
I finally get my chance to, play on one of the biggest stages, and I get a chance to play with a great group of guys, a great coach, and sacrifice. That's the biggest thing. All of us coming in with, one goal in mind, which is winning a gold medal for our country. It's not about the individual, it's about the team as a whole and winning a gold medal.
Meantime, Cousins has a new teammate and another Kentucky connection, Skal Labissiere. Skal was officially introduced to the Kings media yesterday. He fell in the draft to number 28, but the Kings obviously feel he's got a lot of upside, and the men who made the pick like what they've got.
Skal is most talented college player this year in the United States, so we're very fortunate to have him that late. We thought, he's going to be gone long before we had the chance.
We feel like we're getting a steal there with the talent and the skills that he has, the length and the way that the game is being played now. It's playing, small ball. So you're going to see, he'll be definitely playing a stretch position for us at the forward. And at times, if you watch the finals, there's a positionless basketball going on. He could play center for us very easily going down the line.
And kind of lost in the Pete Rose celebration this weekend, a coming home of sorts for former Wildcat and Lexington native Andy Green, who's in his first season as the Padres manager. Green played at Lexington Christian Academy and then 4 seasons at UK. He had a brief playing career in the majors and quickly moved up the ranks to get his first shot at managing.
Don't take a ton of time for personal reflection to figure out what kind of ground I've covered in my life and where I've gotten to. I've always been capable of kind of blocking everything out and kind of focusing in on the day and grinding away. That's kind of why professional baseball has always suited me. So I don't spend a lot of time in self-reflection figuring out how I got to this point. I think about the guys who are in that clubhouse and how I can position them for success and what I can do for this organization and how the Padres become world champions eventually. And like that, what occupies my thought and time. It's not so much what I've been through and where I've come from.
And tonight on the Big Blue Insider with Dick Gabriel, more from UK coach Matthew Mitchell about the passing of the great Pat Summitt, and Richard Skinner with an update from the Bengals training camp. Oh my gosh, it's right around the corner. That's all at 6 on 630 WLAP. Guys, that's a look at sports on your Tuesday.
All right, Dave, thank you so much. And we hope you'll keep it here on WKYT. So much more coming up in the next half hour of our noon news.
We'll have more on the life and legacy of former Tennessee women's basketball coach Pat Summitt.
Family of the man shot and killed Saturday are talking with us about the life he led. Coming up, what they want you to know about him.
Tonight's Mega Millions jackpot is $390 million. And tomorrow's Powerball jackpot is $222 million.